While I'm extremely happy with how my build videos turned out, I do think they're missing some gameplay to showcase how the build works. So that's what this video is. I'll show you some maps, some rituals since that's where I like to make my currency, plus we're farming an audience for the king to go fight our first pinnacle boss and try get the ingenuity utility belt dropped. I'll also show you an ultimatum run since I have seen some comments asking about that. Meanwhile, I'll just ramble at you like the old COD video days where someone would talk about some random stuff while the game played out. The first thing I wanted to talk about was Discord. I don't actively promote my channel because I'm absolutely rubbish at keeping it updated and active, but I want to change that in 2025. So I'm working on a few new sections in Discord specifically for Path of Exile. The one that I'm most excited about is an area to talk about SSF, since so many people are saying they're using my build for their own SSF journey, and honestly that's really exciting to me. So I'd love to see some updates from you guys in the Discord. Also, a quick note to future editor me, do not add graphics on screen to show the Discord server. I know me, I will want to over edit this, and the whole point of this is I'm just showing raw gameplay. So the second thing I want to talk about was a few points I mentioned around the skill Eye of Winter and the support gem Unleash. What I said about them isn't strictly true, but that's because I'm trying not to overload new Path of Exile players with a ton of information. I played Path of Exile 1 for 500-600 hours, which is not a lot. Thanks to this though, I have some basic understanding of most of the game, but certainly not as much as the dedicated Path of Exile players. For that reason I did decide to word the effects of these skills a little bit more basic than they actually are. We'll start with how Eye of Winter actually works versus how I explained it. I said Eye of Winter is additive, so we're adding 10% crit to our minions. This is mostly true, Eye of Winter is additive, but we're not adding 10% crit chance to the minions the way that you'd expect. The additive part of the equation actually comes first. So we take our minions' base crit chance, which is around 5%, and we add 10% to that. Now we take all our multiplicative formulas into account, and now we times that 15% by however much critical chance increase we have. For me, I have pretty much bang on 100% increased crit chance on my current version, taking my minions from 5% to 10%. But with Eye of Winter, we're boosting that initial to 15%, so we actually jump to 30% crit chance. Unless my maths is off, which honestly could be very well possible. Since I think Path of Exile's come out, I've stayed up till 2, 3, sometimes 4 AM working on footage, on editing, on graphics, on the scripts, and I do a lot of research at these stupid hours in the morning as well, which is I think why sometimes in my scripts I don't write things as well as they could be, or maybe I don't write things as correct as they are. You'd think wide awake early morning me would read through the script and, fact check. But wide awake early morning me is running on like 4 or 5 hours sleep. He's not wide awake at all. I do apologise for the things I'm not getting 100% right in the videos. 99% of you who are correcting me in a really friendly way and helping me learn the game, because we're all still learning. And a lot of us are still obviously going based off what Path of Exile 1 is. We're not 100% sure it's exactly the same, but it's obviously built off the same foundation. Let's talk about Unleash. I said this skill caused you to shoot 2 projectiles instead of 1. 99% of the time, that's exactly what it will do. But that doesn't mean I did a good job describing it. What it actually does is it stores charges over time based on the skill's cast time. But the timing that we are using it, which is basically every other second, it will always shoot 2 out. It can store up to 2 charges, meaning sometimes it'll shoot 3 out. And if we do it too often, it'll only shoot 1. The way that I do it is very similar to how I played League of Legends, which is to weave in movement between each attack. So, cast Eye of Winter, move a bit. Cast Eye of Winter, move a bit. The reason I didn't just explain how it actually works is because I'm sort of trying to be like this middleman between completely new and veteran. I think a lot of veteran players of any game forget how hard it is to learn and understand the game. And so when they're doing these guides, they'll use terminology or they'll explain something really heavy and, thinking you're already used to hearing this like crazy levels of maths. And I think a lot of people kind of forget that, and they forget that newer players that come into this, they watch this guide that's aimed at newer players and it just doesn't make any sense to them. So for that reason I try to keep most of the maths out of my video and keep it simple, to the point and easy to understand. That being said, I will try to do a better job in future describing how skills, supports and effects work, as well as leaving resources linked below for people to follow. Lastly, let's talk about this slightly newer version of the build that I'm trying. It's not the one you're watching and I'm not going to edit it in. Editor me will badly want to edit it in, I'm not going to. And we've once again gone around in circles and we've removed Brutality. Brutality is a great support, and honestly every version of the build I try without it 100% get slower clear times on maps. But the downside of no elemental or chaos damage is a pain. For this version I've tried to introduce fire infusion instead, while bringing in a whole new method to apply wither, fire exposure and armor break to our target, so now our minions will benefit from even more buffs and enemies from even more debuffs. I will say I think the reason brutality works so well is because of how the armor system works in PoE. I've watched Crip's videos talking about it, and he shows off what armor value you actually need to resist part of the massive hits that the endgame bosses do. And it's actually insane, which is why I've unleveled every single armor related node on my passive tree right from the very first version of the build. If enemy mobs are using the same calculations as us, maybe physical damage is just easier to deal big numbers with. That being said, this newer version does clear bosses in 2, maybe 3 seconds faster than the other version. So I'm really torn on what version to use. Quicker boss times, slightly slower maps. Slightly faster maps, slightly slower boss times. It's probably not a big deal either way. I'll work on it for at least another week, then maybe I'll make another build video on the new version as an alternative variant to the physical one, but we'll have to see if I like how it looks or not. Otherwise, here's the Trial Master, and then we'll go on to our first pinnacle boss. That one? Seems so. The Crux of Nothingness. We've got some pretty cool looking portals. Might not get to buff up, do you think? Should we try? Oh, hey, we can. So what I'm doing is 2 things. One, I'm trying to get myself some energy shield. But 2, I am building up our minions' rage. So they'll start the fight with rage. And we'll have a nice energy shield. And let's go. So apparently you need to follow the wisps and they guide you to the exit. Oh. I did think we were a bit OP. Jesus. Damn. Yes! Woo! I've never been so hyped to the drop in a game, especially not at my old age. But it's actually good! What? I don't need to smack that with Divine. Obviously that was just a level 1. I'm not trying to act like that was like crazy strong or anything, but what? We destroyed him! Sorry, I know I've literally had comments saying they're glad like I'm this nice calm YouTuber and stuff, but holy man. So 1 Crux of Nothing difficulty, that's clever. So the little nodes increase the difficulty of this place. And it rolled good, what? Thank you very much for the... Oh my god, I can't speak. Thank you very much for subscribing, Smiley Ray. And we actually just got the utility belt. So this is my other Ventus Gamble. Neither one of them is solid. So we're just going to stick both of those on. And our belt. And yeah, okay, it needs work. We got work to do, man. Has it got minus lightning res? Yeah, and you can tell. So if we can re-roll both of these to be decent, because we probably lost a chunk of life. We're not ready for it now though, but we have it. We have it.